Pro, con, football, media, and scandal. So pros and cons. Pros are good things about something. Con is a bad thing. Other than that, remember, I'll not be explaining anything else. You know what to do. Pro, media attacks on pro football should stop. Baltimore. An angry group of media commentators and our political leaders in Washington, D.C. have taken to attacking the National Football League. It's crime not properly policing the private lives of two of its most well-known players. No one is excusing the Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice and Minnesota Vikings running back Adrian Peterson. Their behavior and that of a handful of other NFL stars has been outrageous.
Hey, what's going?
Abusing one's wife or child is a serious crime. It goes against our laws and our morals. People guilty of such crimes ought to receive stiff punishment. But this is America. They deserve a fair trial. It's likely that they will be found guilty. If they are, they deserve punishments that fit their crimes. In the meantime, let's get real. The NFL can urge its several thousand players to behave morally. However, it cannot watch them 24 hours a day without seriously violating their rights. It's the same as if we asked companies like NBC News, IBM, General Motors, or ExxonMobil to invade their workers' private lives. One-sided and over the top. These newspaper writers and TV reporters have appointed themselves as moral judges. They keep yelping for NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell to resign. They also want tough punishment against his league's 32 football teams. All of the players being punished are African Americans. One can only wonder if there's a bit of racism behind it. Yet the attack on professional football started long before Rice and Peterson became the media's favorite targets. The Washington Post, led by its passionate opinion writers, has waged a war to get the Washington Redskins owner Dan Snyder to change his team's name. Snyder, to his credit, has strongly defended his First Amendment right to free speech. Attacks on the nickname make little sense. Repeated polling shows a large majority of Native Americans are not offended by the name Washington Redskins. Many even take pride in the team's portrayal of its mascot as noble, determined, and strong. The support for the name is even stronger among the team's fans and other Americans. Nearly every day, the Post runs an article about the offensive Redskins name. These articles are one-sided and over the top. Sentence first, verdict afterwards. This Post Sally Jenkins even wrote that the Congress should step in and regulate the business of these 32 billionaire plunderers, calling the FNL team owners thieves is unfair. 50 senators, all of them Democrats, have written to the NFL commissioner. They want the Redskins' name changed. Given Congress's poor job performance, Jenkins' suggestion ought to make everyone think twice. Until the last few years, the Redskins enjoyed flattering support from the Post and other D.C. media. Sports writers and commentators dined out in the team's press box and were guests in the owner's skybox. And now, all of a sudden, they've changed course. Enough already. The chatter coming from the media and many in the Democratic Party could be an attempt to distract the public from the President Barack Obama's failures. He has fallen short in his actions internationally and at home. Rushing to judge someone without trial is never appropriate. It's especially wrong when they seem to echo the Red Queen's declaration in Alice in Wonderland. Sentence first, verdict afterwards. So we're going to skip to where it says, con, the NFL's troubles are not the media's fault. Vienna, Virginia. Blaming the media is easy. Blaming the messenger may be the oldest play in the playbook, but that hasn't stopped defenders of football from blaming the media for all the trouble the National Football League is in. The NFL is in real trouble. Choosing to blame the media only highlights the problems that the league faces. Casual viewers and perhaps even the next generation of fans may drift away from the sport. In a perfect world, breaking news wouldn't necessarily come to us from TMZ, blog blasts and ranting, angry comments on cable TV. But the best days for serious news ended long ago. Whatever the source, there's no mistaking that the Baltimore Ravens running back Ray Rice punched his future wife in an elevator. Then he dragged her body into a hotel corridor. There's no mistaking that the NFL has a serious problem when it comes to player violence. And no one can deny there's a problem with the long-term health of its players because of the concussions and other injuries. Head injuries from a violent game. For a light can go out in a fan's heart. Not that long ago, boxing and horse racing ranked among the top sports in the land. They drew huge crowds. Then the public decided that they were too crooked and especially good morning, Deshaun, how are you? In the case of boxing, too violent. Football is a violent game, we all know that, but it can easily be forgotten with the bright graphics, loud theme music, and freeze-framed action offered to us from so many camera angles. Brain-related injuries are the most common injury in today's pro game. The career expectancy for the average NFL player is 3.5 years, according to the union that represents its players. Wide receivers last only 2.81 years on average, and running backs last even less than 2.57 years. Sure, some players are cut from teams because nobody better came along, yet the numbers strongly suggest that more end their careers due to injury. For many, retirement soon becomes a nightmare. A new study reveals that nearly 30% of former NFL players will end up developing brain diseases like Alzheimer's or dementia because of head injuries. Go ahead and finish the rest on your own.